I had this suspicion that my sister and I, had different fathers. And I think it was at one point when I was younger, one of my cousins had mentioned it, but, we looked different. And somebody had planted that seed in my head, this cousin of mine, and it was never discussed. And finally, when I was in my 30s, I finally said to my sister, "Do we have different fathers?" And she said, "Yes." And, that started, a whole new discussion. I was, an adult, and it was never anything that it was hidden. It was, and I found out just in the last couple of years where there's been a group of us cousins that have gotten together, that everybody else in my extended family where I lived knew that we had different fathers. Everybody knew it. I didn't know that. I was the only one that didn't know. So at that, and I think when books started to come out about second generation, it was the first book that I ever read by a second generation person who talked about some of the same things that I had experienced as a child, and never had any place to talk about it or discuss it or think about my feelings and know that other people had those kinds of feelings. Or it was an eye-opener, and I just wanted to know more. And when I confronted my parents after this thing about my sister, when we were down in Florida visiting them, they just said, "We didn't want you to feel, we wanted you to love your sister, and we didn't want you to feel that, there was anything different about your relationship." They were nervous about it, and I said, I was very attached to my sister because she was 10 years older than me and took care of me a lot. She was like a second mother growing up, so there's no way that it made any difference in my feelings towards her. But that's what they were afraid of. And that sort of opened the door to talk a little bit more about it. My father was, as I mentioned, more willing to talk about the Holocaust. And so, we started to talk more about it, and he did the Shoah tape, and I learned more about it.